Do you accept that it is attraction, 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 attraction? So no matter how someone else has behaved in your experience, well, it felt like they were doing things to you and expecting things of you and blah, blah, blah. It's attraction, attraction, attraction. So consider this. If somebody behaves in a domineering way and you come to expect that that's who they are and the way they're going to behave, isn't it attraction, attraction, attraction? And in many ways, aren't you controlling their behavior toward you? There's no assertion. They can't assert that obnoxiousness into your behavior, but you can expect it in, and that's attraction. Whew, that's so big. That is so big. So what you might say in your mind's eye to past obnoxious people, I'm sort of done with you. I'm not going to attract that part of you anymore. I'm not going to keep that part. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let go of that. Those are the things that you want to let go of. You want to let go of any thoughts of oppression. They don't exist. Or any thoughts of assertion. It doesn't exist. And hold to your knowledge of its attraction. Its attraction. Its attraction. Sit in your room or wherever you want to be and deliberately focus upon things that light up your light board, and then think of yourself going out into the world and things just lighting up around you that match who you are. And don't try to make it perfect every single day or every single moment. Just be aware of what's lighting up. So when you get something that you don't want, don't blame it on them and don't blame it on you. Accept it as attraction, attraction. Ponder that. That person's really trained me into this expectation, and this expectation is pretty strong, but my expectation doesn't have to be only about what I'm observing. I can go broader. I can go more general. I can remember who they must have been as a baby. I can acknowledge who they must have been coming into this life experience. I can give them the benefit of the doubt. That is the strongest statement, the strongest tool, the most effective tool at changing what you're attracting from another person. If you just decide you're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, let's talk literally about what the benefit of the doubt means. It means when you feel doubt, you are not connected to source. And so benefit of the doubt is deciding that you're going to connect with source instead of keeping that active within you. You're not giving them the benefit, you're taking it for yourself. I'm giving myself the benefit of not feeling doubt anymore. I'm giving myself the benefit of not pushing against you anymore. I'm giving myself the benefit of understanding that I am misunderstanding you, because at your core, you mean well, and you want well, and you want well for you, and you want well for me. You've got to de-enemize others. You've got to take the enemy out of them. You've got to take your reason for pushing against out, because what you push against keeps coming to you because it's active. A lot of times people don't get it. Law of attraction, or art of allowing. Art of allowing. That must mean that I just let people get away with stuff and I just put up with it. No. The art of allowing is allowing yourself to feel good because you want to, no matter what somebody else is doing. And that takes some practice, because before you can not care what somebody else is doing, you've got to render it unimportant. And the way you render it unimportant is because it's unimportant. Because they can't attract for you. So what they think about you is not any of your business.
I have a husband who is not at all in that same vibrational believing, and in fact doesn't even believe in what I believe in.
Well, what's your husband got to do with your vibration? He can't get in there and vibrate in you.
I understand that, but
it's your attention to him that is messing up your vibration.
Yes.
So what you're saying is, how can I find the power to offer a vibration that pleases me when I've got someone that I'm observing that causes me to offer a vibration that I don't want to offer?
Exactly.
We say, Well, that's why we began here today as we did, that the only thing that is relevant is where I am relative to where I want to be. So we're going to dramatize this for you just to make it fun and obvious what's happening. So you say, here I'm living and I've launched this clear idea. We heard you and we could feel that. I have this clear idea. So there's me and my clear idea. The only two things that matter. Except for him. There's me and my clear idea, and that's all that matters, except for him. So there's my clear idea and where I am and him. And he's an increasingly big part of where I am. If he would just clean up his act. And we say, you have to disregard anyone outside of your vibration. When you give your attention to anything, you activate it in you. So what you want to do is activate within you the parts of him that match what you want. And there are some. It's a matter of focusing. It's about training yourself to focus in a way that feels good rather than just sloppily looking at whatever. When you go to a buffet, do you just let them pile anything on your plate?
No.
Really?
No.
You don't just say,
Bring
it's
it
up
on.
to you. You mean you choose?
I do.
So why don't you do that with your husband? Does he pile it on your plate?
Yes, he's very strong.
Well, we thought that's what you'd say, because it does feel a little bit like people who are strong in personality can assert themselves into your experience. But there's a little trick or technique that if you will apply it, you'll start to get some relief in this. And we call it making peace with where you are. In other words, there are a lot of people who really need cooperation from everybody around them before they believe they can begin moving toward where they want to go. And we want to say to you, you don't need cooperation from anybody but yourself. But you've got to stop pushing against the parts of others that feel like they're not going the way you want. In other words, you got to clean up your own vibration, and you do that by disregarding some of it or by sifting through it and finding the best of it. What do you think is the behavior that stands out the most in your husband's personality that feels hindering to you?
The negativity, aggression.
So are you saying to us that he is angry?
Yes.
And what have you heard so far here today about why anyone would have that knee-jerk response of anger? Why do you think he's moving to anger?
Well, I don't know about whether he's moving to anger,
Well,
but I
well,
know
he's-
that I've moved to anger.
Well, that's logical,
Yeah.
but let's talk about him just for a moment.
Okay.
So he's angry, and what does that mean? If you're looking at him objectively as a teacher or a counselor or someone who loves him, and you see him in anger, what do you think he's chosen anger over?
Pain,
And pain of what?
his past.
And a past that feels like disempowerment?
Yes.
So his anger is the way that, without really knowing it, he tries to take control of his life back. And don't you respect that? Wouldn't you sort of like to pat him on the back and say, love, I would rather that you are in your anger than in fear? Couldn't you give him that? Now, if you're in fear of his anger, then that's a hard one for you to do. But if you can objectively stand back a little bit, as we do, if we met your husband and we saw him in pain and in memory of his past, we'd be coaching him into anger. And you'd say, oh, Abraham, thanks a lot. Now he's taking it out on me. I liked him better when he was depressed. You hardly even knew him when he was depressed because the depression was so awful that he's been practicing the art of anger for a long time, you see. So when we say make peace with something, this is a mechanism where you can make peace with this. Because when you think about it, now try just for a moment to just be where you are, thinking about your hard-to-live-with husband and the anger and aggression that he displays. And just ask yourself on a visceral level, on how it feels in your stomach, would you rather that he was in despair and fear, or would you rather, for his sake, that he were in anger?
Oh, for sure, anger.
All right, so now you've just made a little bit of peace with that. In other words, you've just closed the gap. You just found relief as you thought about the subject of your husband. You feel better about him right now than you have in a long time. He became less of a hindering factor between where you are and what you want than he's been in a long time, because you soothed yourself relative to him, you see. You can now be the vibrational leader, but don't tell him. He's not going to take kindly to the idea that you are leading him, but you can by bringing the best out of him. In other words, as you make lists of the things that you appreciate about him, go home today and make a list of the way your life improved when you met him, and make a list of why you wanted to be with him. You can remember why you wanted to be with him and reactivate that within yourself. And then on another page, make a list of the positive aspects that you see, so that you activate the very best of him in you. And it is our promise that as soon as tomorrow, more of the best of him will be reflected in your own experience, you see. It happens every single time. Find vibrational alignment with the best of where you are, because then you can step into the next logical step and the next logical step and the next logical step. This relationship can improve dramatically, and it is our expectation that it will. We would clean up our vibration, and we wouldn't have conversations with him about, I'm cleaning up my vibration so that you will treat me better. We would clean up our vibration, and we would acknowledge that you are being treated better, not just by him, but by everyone who touches you in every way.